Imagine this for a moment. You're deep in an old bookshop, the kind with that smell, dust, old paper.
Yeah, you can almost picture it.
And you stumble across these papers, water-stained, really tattered, handwritten. But the script, it looks like it's all consonants.
Just consonants. Strange.
Right, and as you start trying to figure it out, you get this really eerie feeling like you found something, well, disturbing. A plan.
Okay, intriguing.
That's pretty much the setup for what we're diving into today. These are the Lucifer Letters, transcribed by Will Edwards in his book, The Lost Lucifer Letters.
Right.
So our mission really is to unpack this correspondence. It's supposedly between two entities, Asmodeus and Belphegor, and it lays out this ancient, malevolent plan for humanity.
And what's so striking about these, beyond the weird script is the content. They claim to detail this long-term strategy. They even call it Project Stealth.
Project Stealth.
Yeah, and the whole point is to subtly sort of derail human potential, stop people connecting with what they call the enemy.
The enemy being?
The source of a misplaced message of kindness, as they put it. It's quite the framing.
It really is. So we're going deep into these sources today. We want to pull out the key parts of this frankly chilling plan and think about the questions it raises, about influence, how we behave, and maybe even our own thinking time.
That idea of thinking time seems pretty central.
Exactly. What does it all mean for us? For you listening? Maybe even for the world we think we know. Okay, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So let's start with how these things even surfaced. It's quite a story. The author, Will Edwards, he finds them in this dark basement room of that shop.
Right. Not exactly out on display.
No. He talks about this curious Haiti cocktail of smells woody, smoky, vanilla, and then these papers, handwritten on tattered paper, yellowed with time.
And fragile. Right. You mentioned they were falling apart.
Extremely. He said they almost disintegrated. Faint ink in that script, entirely of consonants, making it incredibly hard to read.
So where'd the shop owner say he got them?
From a local minister's private library, apparently acquired years ago. The owner's first thought, maybe just a literary exercise from, the Victorian era.
Okay, why Victorian?
Well, he mentioned that articled clerks back then sometimes skipped vowels when copying legal stuff, like land deeds, just to save time. So the consonant-only script kind of fit that initially.
Ah, okay. A plausible, if mundane, explanation.
Exactly. But then Edward starts decrypting them over months, and he spots something immediately. The language felt off, anachronistic.
Didn't fit the Victorian period he was thinking of.
Not at all. Which made him wonder, were these copies of something much older?
Because omitting vowels was usually for copying important documents, right? To save parchment or time on something valuable?
Precisely. So the originals, if these were copies, could be way older. Maybe even with some kind of code or dating system he just couldn't crack.
Which obviously leads to the big question. What are these things?
Right. And Edwards himself admits he was nervous about publishing. The nature of the content, he said. He even thought about just saying the origin was unknown.
Understandable, given the sound of it. He hoped maybe someone else could figure out the dating later.
Yeah, or find some other message of import hidden within. So he wrestles with this authenticity question. And he talks to a Professor Lewis.
Ah, someone with experience in old texts.
Apparently. And Lewis's advice is fascinating. He basically says, look, don't get hung up on proving they're real. You probably can't.
Really? Just dismiss the authenticity question.
Well, not dismiss it, but shift the focus. He points to things like the Voynich manuscript. You know that one?
Oh, yeah. The ultimate undeciphered mystery text. Is it code? A lost language? Gibberish? Nobody knows for sure.
Exactly. And Lewis uses that as an example. Scholars debate it endlessly. So Lewis tells Edwards, the value isn't in proving the legality. The Lucifer Letters are historically verifiable. It's in the important message they contain.
So focus on what they say, not where they came from necessarily.
Pretty much. His advice was literally simply publish the transcript without too much in the way of explanation. He even used that old phrase, publish and be damned.
Wow. Bold advice.
Because, as Lewis put it, the text speaks for itself, which kind of throws it back to us, the readers, the listeners. It makes you ask, are we maybe living in the kind of reality this text describes?
That's a heavy question.
It is. So let's get into that message. What is Project Stealth?
Okay, so according to the letters, Project Stealth is this huge multi-phase plan thought up by Asmodeus, greenlit by Belphegor and Lucifer himself, the Prince of Darkness.
And the ultimate goal?
To defeat the enemy. And they plan to do that by stopping humans from connecting with their true spiritual essence.
Which ultimately leads to
The final destruction of human civilization itself. Pretty bleak.
understatement. So how do they plan to do this? What are the phases?
Right, it's laid out in 3 phases, linked to what they call terrestrial time. Phase 1, find and destroy the enemy's human form.
Okay, direct approach.
Phase 2, if the message spreads anyway, corrupt it, twist it, turn followers into worshipping megalomaniacs.
Distort the original meaning.
Exactly. And then phase 3, this is where Project Stealth really comes into its own. The aim here is to basically cripple humanity's ability to think clearly.
Cripple thinking. How?
Ensure nations never learn peace. Ensure technology leads to their downfall. It's about subtly undermining everything from the inside out.
And this is where the specific tactics come in, the ones that sound familiar.
Yes. The core idea, as Modius writes, is to kill off that natural desire for personal fulfillment. Make sure people have absolutely no proper thinking time.
No thinking time. That phrase again.
It's key. And the methods proposed?
Yeah.
Well, let's break them down.
Please do.
First up, popular music. The initial thought was just shocking music for kids to annoy parents. Simple rebellion.
Standard generational thing.
But the long-term plan was for it to evolve, become a thumping noise, something that literally stops you from having inner thoughts.
How specific do they get?
Yeah.
Very. They want an unmelodious, rhythmic, monotonous sound, repetitive beats, minimal changes in timing, and crucially, words spoken rather than sung.
Spoken. Wow.
Maximum control, apparently, to keep people in a permanent state of mild hypnosis.
Wow. And they actually planned this evolution.
Yeah, influencing generation after generation to continually push the boundaries of social acceptability,
Yeah.
turning music into a tool for inducing a trance state.
And they had a timeline.
They estimated it could be largely transformed in about 10 generations, roughly 300 years.
That's quite the long game. What
Yeah.
about adults?
For them, especially the middle class, they suggested easy listening music.
Music, basically.
Pretty much. Insipid, unexciting, low-quality compositions. The key was to have it playing constantly, everywhere people gather, but especially where they might otherwise be alone with their thoughts.
Cars, shops, elevators.
Exactly. Airports, restaurants, you name it. And crucially, marketed as sophisticated to appeal to people's esteem needs.
However, in a disturbing way. Anything for intellectuals. They thought about that too. Considered avant-garde and experimental music, what we might call jazz, maybe some forms of it, using a non-melodious juxtaposition of brain-affecting frequencies.
To stifle creativity even among the thinkers.
Seems to be the idea. Okay, next tool. Alcohol.
Right. How did that fit in?
The goal wasn't necessarily mass alcoholism. That might cause backlash, prohibition.
So, not addiction, but
Regular light consumption, just enough to lightly drug and anesthetize people. Keep them slightly dulled.
why? What's the specific aim?
To stop them pursuing anything really worthwhile, like studying self-improvement, basically, to keep them stuck in their rat race jobs. Too numb to want change.
And they plan to make it cheap.
Cheaper than water in some places was the goal. Influence producers, even topple governments that taxed it too much, ensure it was universally affordable.
And they saw it working with the music.
Oh, yes. The combination of easy listening music and low levels of alcohol was described as an almost ideal mix of brain-deadening depressants.
Chilling. Okay, what else is in the toolbox?
Drugs. This was aimed more at those who couldn't cope with the rat race. People who might otherwise drop out and seek something else.
So offer them a different escape.
An escape that leads nowhere. Substances that entertain them for a short while, provide pleasure, escape reality, but also addict them. Make them permanent slaves.
Leading to.
Total debilitation, entirely wasted lives.
And they knew governments would outlaw drugs.
Yes, but they counted on the black market always existing and planned to infiltrate it to ensure supply.
The strategic goal being
Keep people distracted, debilitated, prevent them from finding the enemy's true intentions, which might lead them to, stop trying to kill each other or use their creativity for good.
It's so comprehensive. What about television?
TV. Targeted particularly at those who might avoid booze and drugs. Maybe people in midlife who might otherwise start thinking become open to the enemy's message.
So how would they use TV?
Initially, it looks like a miracle, right? But
Yeah.
the plan was for it to devolve, become mindless and inane tripe.
Lowering the quality deliberately.
Yes. To paralyze their ability to think. Gradually replace educational or thought-provoking stuff with less and less content. Just empty entertainment.
And this was written when? before TV was even widespread.
That's what's so unsettling. And they didn't stop there. They anticipated computer networks.
You're kidding. What did they predict for the internet?
Well, they outlined several strategies. First, pornography. They saw it as a way to basically hijack the network's capacity.
Hijack it how?
By tapping into, well, male sex drive for self-gratification. They figured it would consume huge amounts of bandwidth and storage and be incredibly distracting, even destructive. They actually predicted it could cause infertility.
Wow. Okay, what else for networks?
Computer viruses, modeled on biological ones, spread by people who just take delight in causing harm.
With the aim of
Paralyzing the technology, banking, communications, commerce, just widespread disruption.
Sounds depressingly familiar. And the third thing?
Simply broadcasting rubbish, just filling the network with useless noise. Pointless data streams designed solely to consume resources and deny humans the useful potential of their own invention.
Just digital garbage.
Exactly. And they even plan to use defenders of free speech to ensure this stuff couldn't be stopped.
That's deeply cynical.
The whole plan is. But then, amidst all this, Asmodeus messes up. Big time.
That happens.
He gets carried away. Writing about the television plan, he's apparently overjoyed and slips into demonic language.
He actually writes in demonic.
Yeah, phrases like poriniculum distribusto il cum dan samanto est and mi cumbulatum ad nortus tinatas, just blurts it out in the letter.
And that's bad.
Extremely bad. Belphegor's response is immediate, furious. There's an absolute rule: never use demonic language outside their realm.
Why not?
Because it's too powerful. Belphegor warns that even a human, with their strictly limited intelligence, might figure out the meaning from context.
And that would be catastrophic.
It could lead to them deciphering the unholy tongue, which is apparently treason, a huge security risk.
So Belphegor lays into him.
Oh, yeah. Reminds him of the terrible fate of another demon who made a similar mistake. Demands Asmodeus rewrite the letter without the demonic phrases and destroy Belphegor's angry reply immediately.
Uncover it up fast.
But it's too late. The official archivist, Parkian, gets involved.
Oh, dear.
Parkian tells Asmodeus, basically, there's no forgiveness in hell. He's being summoned to the lowest court of the dark realm in a place called Evex for treason.
Just for a few words.
Because, as Parkian explains, even one single word of demonic language correctly decoded by humans has enormous power. It could open human eyes to another dimension of communication, and that must never be allowed to happen.
So Asmodeus is doomed.
It looks that way. He writes a statement, pleads guilty, but he tries to mitigate. He argues human language is just too inadequate to express great jubilation.
A weak excuse, surely.
Maybe, but then he makes a clever point. He notes that Parkian himself used the demonic word avex to name the court in his message to Asmodeus.
Ah, showing that even the archivist had to resort to it sometimes.
Exactly. Proving the limits of human language for certain demonic concepts. He basically throws himself on the mercy of the, well, lack of mercy.
What happens then?
Amazingly, Parkian reconsiders. After very careful consideration, he decides not to send the case to the low court.
He lets him off. Why?
He concedes Asmodeus' point. Human language is extremely limiting for a demon's thought, so he decides to handle it differently.
Oh.
He promises to gather all the related letters, including the ones with the slip-up and the angry replies, and safely dispose of them, make them simply disappear as if they never existed.
A cover-up.
He finishes with this incredible line. There can be no forgiveness in hell, but perhaps on this occasion there can be a little forgetfulness.
Wow. Forgetfulness, not forgiveness.
Yeah.
And yet, the letters survived.
Providentially, somehow. And get this, Will Edwards, the author who found them, he later found that specific demonic phrase, porniculum disturbisto, written in the minister's own journal.
The minister whose library they came from.
The very same, along with the minister's own crude attempts to decipher it. He was guessing at Latin or Italian roots, things like something demolished something, or something combined with something is demolished.
But he couldn't make it fit the context.
No. So the very error that nearly cost Asmodeus everything ended up being preserved, even puzzled over, by the human who owned the documents. It's quite an irony.
Incredible. So that brings us almost full circle.
Yeah. We've gone from this strange discovery, the authenticity debate, right through Project Stealth.
Music, alcohol, drugs, TV, the internet, all tools to manipulate consciousness, stop thinking time.
to this near-catastrophic slip-up and the unlikely survival of the documents themselves, it's quite a narrative.
It really is. And it brings us back to that question Professor Lewis posed, right?
Exactly. He pushed past the "are they real" question to ask something much more direct, more personal.
Which was?
Are we living in the reality that the text describes? Do we let all this stuff, the noise, the distractions, crowd out our valuable thinking time? Does it cut off our natural spiritual connection with the divine?
That really puts it back on us, the listener, on you. Whether these letters are genuine ancient demonic plans or, something else entirely.
Their content forces you to look at your own life, doesn't it?
It does. How much of our time is spent truly engaging, truly thinking versus just consuming? Filling the silence.
Is the entertainment we choose stimulating us or just numbing us? The letters talk about a veneer of contentment hiding abject misery.
Maybe the biggest act of defiance, if a plan like this even subtly exists, is just to reclaim that proper thinking time.
To consciously seek out real fulfillment, maybe even, as the letters imply, is being suppressed, a kind of spiritual reawakening.
In a world that might just be consciously or unconsciously designed to keep us from doing exactly that, it's certainly something to ponder.
Definitely food for thought.